announcement sort of came out of nowhere for me when I heard the news today. Why is he doing this now?
Well, I can't answer that. I'll find out tomorrow morning with the rest of the world. Michael, I've dug really deep on this. I've augured as deep as I can, and I haven't found anyone not surprised by this. I think there's a very, very small inner circle at Joe Gibbs Racing that was either negotiating or working through this in the last few days. But this is a big surprise, and I think it caught most of us off guard.
All right, so obviously he was very disappointed at how he finished at Homestead. Had a chance to win with 10 laps to go, crashes, finishes second for, what, a third time now? Or, excuse me, does not win a championship yet again. Do you think that it's just sort of some emotions involved here and he may need to step away a little bit and then try to come back maybe a year or two down the road?
I believe what we're going to hear tomorrow is that all of what you just described has taken a toll on Carl Edwards. He's an extraordinary talent. Even though he still has several years left, I think 4 or 5 quality years if he chose to drive. He's 37 years old, Michael. If you compare that to other athletes, that's a little long in the tooth. And I don't think there's anything that changes a driver's perspective, their focus, their lack of desire or willing to give that dedication that's required. I don't think anything affects you more than having children. Carl has 2 children. And I think that he's probably tired. I don't think it's much beyond that. I know that there is an overhang, a concern that this is associated with health, his health, or someone in his family's health. And obviously everybody hopes that's not the case. But this is an extraordinary talent that could race for anybody in our sport. He's a critical part of Joe Gibbs Racing, and I have to believe that there's going to be a setback for the organization, at least short term.
What's up, guys? Jay Red here, and before I get into today's video, I just want to say that I feel a little sick right now. My nose is stuffy and my throat's killing me. So if you hear my raspy voice or you hear my snuffling, I'm sorry. I will try to get better, but I'm still going to try to post as many videos as possible. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about somebody retiring that very much shocked me, and probably the NASCAR world, ever since Jeff Gordon retired, because that one shocked me the most. But anyway, Carl Edwards, 37 years old. He decides to retire from Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, if you think about it, Carl Edwards, he's 37 years old. He's probably at the prime of his racing career, because basically it's not like the NBA or the NFL where you hit your prime at between the ages of 25 to 33 years old. In NASCAR, you hit your prime around between the ages of like 27 through 39 years old. Because as soon as you get past like get in your 40s, you're still going to be great. Like Jimmy Johnson, he's in his 40s right now, and he's already won 7 championships. So that's saying something. But pretty much around anywhere between 44 to 47 is the dip off of where you start to peak down in your NASCAR career. But Carl Edwards, he is 37 years old, and he just retired from Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, tell you guys the truth, Carl Edwards, he's not my favorite driver because I'm a big-time Jeff Gordon fan and anybody that's driving the number 24 car, and I'm a huge fan of Hendrick Motorsports. But Carl Edwards, I will say, if I had to pick a driver, if I could like cheer on besides anybody from Hendrick Motorsports, it'd be Carl Edwards. Now, here's the reasoning, because Carl Edwards, he is an outstanding talent. Yeah, he's not like a guy that's going to go out there and win races all the time, because when you watch the sport of NASCAR, if you guys ever seen the sport of NASCAR, it's hard to win. It's really hard to win back-to-back races. Nobody's going to top Richard Petty with 27 wins in a season. Like, that's insane. But Carl Edwards, if you get him out there on a racetrack and you put him against the best that NASCAR has to offer, he is going to put up or shut up. He is going to be dominant on any track you put him at, especially Phoenix, because that's really one of his best racetracks. So anyway, getting into this today, this really shocked me. And with everything changing in NASCAR now, there's like a whole bunch of safety regulations and everything. Carl Edwards, I think this was more of an emotional thing for him because if you guys have seen the NASCAR race, for anybody that's a NASCAR fan on my channel, if you guys have seen the last season, he finished 4th, 5,007 points, 33 behind Jimmy Johnson. And in that season, he had 36 starts, 3 wins, and 6 poles. That's a very good season. That's really good, considering that not a lot of the younger guys who are up and comers get a lot of race wins, and it's much of the older guys like Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and all those other guys get all the victories. So Carl Edwards, he's up there. He was up there for race wins. That's a really, really good season. Nothing to be ashamed about. And if you guys saw the very last race of the season, Carl had a chance to win the championship. I think this is like, hang on, how many times has he had? 1, 2, 5 chances. He was in the top 4. And honestly, the only thing that's really been keeping him from winning a championship was bad luck. Like Carl Edwards, like he's had bad luck when it comes to championships. Like in 2005, when he finished 3rd, he had other people dominate him. I think, Tony Stewart won the 2005 NASCAR championship, I do believe. So that was a pretty big momentum shifter. He could have beaten Jimmy Johnson in 2008, but Jimmy Johnson was on fire at that time. In 2011, Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart tied, and it came down to a first place finish, and Tony Stewart beat him. And then this year, in 2016, he had a chance to win, but he got spun out on the last lap, not the last lap, but like 10 laps to go. He was in the top 4, and he could have had a chance to win, but he wrecked, which is very unfortunate because Carl Edwards, he's a guy you do not see all the time. He's a talent that can not be touched for like a while, especially his signature backflip. If you ever seen the celebration he does when he wins races. But Carl Edwards, he is definitely one of the like drivers that will be talked about for coming generations. Now, Carl Edwards, I got his stats up here. In only 445 races that he's raced in, he's had 28 wins, 124 top 5 finishes, 220 top 10 finishes, and 353 top 20 finishes. And if let's see, can I bring up more? I know there's more. Anyway, while that's bringing it up, if you guys think about it, Carl Edwards, he's really not that bad of a talent. It's just that there's been a lot of guys that have outperformed him. All right, now here we go. He's had 22 poles. His average finishes is 13th place, and his average start was 14th place. But you got to think, coming for a guy that has about 28 victories and is usually running in the top 20, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. He's not like a Jeff Gordon or a Jimmy Johnson or there was one more. Or a guy like Kyle Busch who can really get a lot of top 5 finishes. He's not like that. But he is definitely a guy that if you give him a car, he's gonna do good. And going through his statistics, the most races he's won at is either Bristol or Texas. Phoenix, he's had 2 victories. I said that was his best track, but I think Phoenix is his best track besides Texas. But Texas and Phoenix have got to be the best tracks he's competed on. He's led over 6,000 laps, which is not bad. He's raced a total of 127,000 laps. He's completed 97% of these laps and only has 31 DNFs. Think about it. That's good. That's really good. That means he's consistent on a daily basis. And now with Carl Edwards retiring, Daniel Suarez, he is now taking the place for Carl Edwards in the NASCAR, what's it called now? The NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series. I hate saying that. I don't know how this is going to turn out because Daniel Suarez is going to be a rookie. Carl Edwards is going to be gone from the sport. But here's my prediction. I don't think Carl Edwards is going to be gone that long. I think he's going to come back. Now, the reason I say that is because Carl Edwards, you got to think, he's been through a lot of emotions. He has 2 kids. He has a family to take care of. And his health is probably a little bit down. But the only reason I think he's going to come back is because, he's going to, take a break from the sport and, get his head straight and try to think things through that has happened in the past year or so. And that's what I think is going to make Carl a better driver, is if he decides to come back, he could try to give him a good team. Don't get me wrong, Joe Gibbs is a great racing team, no disrespect to them, but if Carl Edwards could get picked up by Front Row Motorsports, or maybe even Hendrick, or maybe even Stewart Haas Racing, for that fact, if he decides to come back. If he decides to come back, that will probably be the best thing, because it'd be really disappointing if Carl Edwards retired for good, because he was one of the drivers that I was wanting to root for, but I love Hendrick. I can't root against Hendrick. But Carl Edwards, I'm really disappointed that he decided to retire at such a young age, especially in the prime of his racing career. And you just don't see guys like Carl Edwards all the time, especially if you see a backflip. Imagine if you saw a NASCAR driver getting out of his car celebrating and he does a backflip. You instantly got to like him. Carl Edwards, he is a really nice guy. If you guys saw the last race, he spun out, he got wrecked. He went to the guys that he got spun out by, and he told them that it was his fault, and that they should not feel guilty about spinning him out. It was all his fault. And that's a really good, nice stand-up guy right there. Carl Edwards, he'll do anything just to put a smile on your face no matter what. And I don't even know how my sister's gonna react to this, because I don't think she knows about Carl Edwards retiring. She does follow NASCAR, but I don't think she knows yet. So I don't even know what my sister's gonna react to about Carl Edwards retiring. She's probably gonna be really upset, because it's her favorite driver. But congrats for an awesome career, Carl Edwards. You have nothing to be disappointed in. You are definitely one of the drivers that did change NASCAR forever. Dude, you're amazing. So pretty disappointed myself. So I want you guys to tell me, do you think Carl Edwards is gonna come back? Do you think Carl Edwards has a chance to maybe win a championship if he does come back? Because I want to know that from you guys. I think he does. So tell me down in the comment section below. Discuss it with me. I'll be happy to talk to you guys about it. And until the next video, guys, I'll see you all later. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed.